Hello, Middle. Hey. Reverend Jackie and Reverend Bertram asked us to reflect on this text, the way that we see love transforms, showing up in our lives, and what it means to have what is old pass away. And my response was very different at the beginning of this week than it is at the end of this week. This week started with Mother's Day. Does it feel like it's been more than a week? Like weeks and weeks. And continued to move through this weather that has me worried about and in awe of Mother Earth, that ended with men in their rich man's house. Claiming jurisdiction on women's bodies and their mental and physical health. So I'm thinking about women. And through my eyes, I'm having a hard time imagining what's next. So we're gonna time travel. We're gonna go back to when everything was great, a week ago, to Mother's Day, when I went to my son's daycare and he drew me wearing a crown. I didn't point out to the other moms that I was the only one that was wearing a crown in my, but I wanted to make sure that you all knew. And I felt like a queen. I thought about how lucky I am to be in this place in this time. I come from a grandmother on my mother's side, Banumadi Valyadan, born in the matriarchal society of Kerala, India, who refused an arranged marriage. And she fell in love, and she moved to Malaysia, and then she became the auntie who everybody would go to when they fell in love, and they needed somebody to convince their parents that they needed to be in a love marriage. I come from a grandmother on my father's side, Delane Buchholz, whose family survived the Great Depression by converting their brick factory into a mushroom growing factory, and she won't touch a mushroom to this day. She worked during World War II and continued to work for most of her life, and is one of the funniest people I know at 94 years old. Despite being raised a strict Missouri Synod Lutheran, who said that when she was growing up in Chicago, if you crossed the street if you saw a Catholic friend walking on your side. And despite her husband, my grandfather's protestations, she embraced my Hindu mother when my father and my mother met and married. I come from my mother, Shanti Pillai, who worked in parliament in the capital city of Malaysia and speaks 4 languages fluently, and met my dad when he was in the Peace Corps. They fell in love, and she moved to Eagle River, Wisconsin, a town where the population almost matches the number of days of winter annually. And she went to work as a receptionist in the town nursing home. I think she had children just to increase the diversity of the all-white towns that she lived in. She and my father have dedicated their lives to the service of the communities they have been in. Through creating feeding programs, she worked as a teacher's aide, and they're currently planning their summer camp that they run for about 60 kids across our county. Mine is not a bootstrap story. Mine is the story of the women who could see a new heaven and a new earth just over the horizon. And they got there by choosing love. It is because of them that I'm standing here today. What a privilege. They showed me the way that God shows up in the way that we love one another, and that a world, a society, a culture that seeks to stand in the way of that love is too small and should be cast aside. It is because of them that I wear a crown. It is because of them that, despite legislators across this great country working to strip women of their right to decide what can be done to their bodies, I know that they can never take away our ability to choose love. I can and I must choose love by voting, by helping others to vote. I can and I must choose love by making sure all people are counted in the census. I can and I must choose love by raising my children in a queer, multi-generational, multiracial community that does not center whiteness, maleness, or heterosexuality. By making sure that my son knows that God's love is manifest in how he loves, not in how he can control and oppress. I can and must turn my rage and complicity into action and creation. I can and I must choose love by coming to this place and finding out where and how I can plug into the great work of this congregation. I choose love by remembering that God is here, in this place, loving me, mothering me, putting my feet on a path, and setting my eyes on a horizon. I am scared. I think my grandmothers and my mother were scared too. But we see a new heaven and a new earth, and we can and we must hold each other's hands, adjust each other's crowns, and get there together. Thank you, Middle.